Pranam, I am Jeet Shah, the partner of VCS, a boutique firm that helps the FMBs and SMEs to grow. We believe that being trusted is a bigger compliment than being loved. Now, not going too far in marketing my own firm, let us come back to the topic of this video. That in this video, we are going to talk about an alternative way of financing the working capital, and that is known as trades. Now, let us understand what is trades. The first para that you see on the screen is the copy paste by the government of India. It says that it is the scheme for setting up and operating the institutional mechanism for facilitating the financing of trade receivables of MSMEs from corporate and other buyers, including government departments and PSUs. Through multiple finances is known as trade receivables discounting system or trades. Now, what does it mean over here? Simply is that it is a high-tech platform wherein you will be able to discount your invoices without going physically to the bank every time. So the main objective of this trades is to address the critical need of the MSME, that is the prompt financing of the debtors, and that too based on the buyer's credit rating and not on the rating of the SME seller. And from 24th October 2017, Ministry of Finance has mandated all the major PSUs to get registered in on the trades platform. Now, this is a bigger boon to all those people who have PSUs as their customers, because this will definitely infuse huge liquidity, and this liquidity might be coming within a time of 48 hours to you. Let us see how does it work. Let us first see what are the benefits to the MSME sellers. So you will get the best discount rate due to participation of multiple finances. मतलब होगा क्या यहाँ पे that once your bill would be uploaded, all the bankers or all the participants on the platform will see your bill, and depending upon the credit rating of the buyers, they will start bidding. That means they will tell you at what rate they will discount your bill. And you as a seller have a right to choose the best quote. So first there will be a competition among the finances to finance your bill. Secondly, the cost of funds will become lower because the discounting will happen on the buyer's credit rating and not on the rating of the MSME sellers. That means if suppose you are having a very good buyer like say Reliance or say Tata Motors, somebody else, then the cost of funds will not depend upon your rating. It will depend upon the rating of Reliance or Tata Motors, as the case may be. Now, what will happen because of this? You can efficiently deploy your capital due to timely receipt of the funds, and this will be going a long way in helping your business to grow. Registering at trades will definitely reduce your cost and paperwork, and it will increase the transparency to all the participants. This was the benefits to the sellers. Now let us discuss the benefits to the buyers. So will the buyers also get some benefits? It's yes. All the corporates, once they register for trades, there will be no headache for them for finding whether they are complying with the MSME Act, yes or no. There will be an automatic compliance because of the platform. There will be competitive price discovery through competitive bidding. Now this means that the third point is important for them. There will be low supply chain cost for the buyers. Why? Because the seller will be getting the funds on the spot. However, the buyer is not paying on the spot. Buyer is lending his own rating so that the cost of funds goes down to the seller. This will definitely help the buyers registered on the platform so as to negotiate well on the cost of the products that they are purchasing. It's an alternate and efficient vendor payment mechanism which is superb. It will reduce the cost and paperwork of even the buyers. And once we start to pay the people well before time, it ensures a stable supplier base, because right now after COVID, the most important thing that we are facing is the liquidity crunch, and this will ease out the crunch for sure. Let us understand how does it work. So let us understand first how does factoring work. So what will happen is that in step 1, the seller will upload the invoice in a digital form, and that digital form is known as a FU, it is a factor unit. Once the factor unit is accepted by the buyer, the financiers like the bankers and the NBFCs that are there on the platform will start bidding for the invoice. That is at the rate at which they would like to discount the bill or the invoice. In the fourth step, the seller has the right will to accept the best bid for him. Once the seller accepts the bid, the financier will disburse the fund and the seller will receive the fund within 48 hours. And this is true, you get the funds within 48 hours. It is mostly T+1 or T+2. Once the buyer pays the financier the due date, the financier receives the outstanding amount and the game is over. So this was about factoring, and the next is reverse factoring. This is also happening. Many corporates themselves are trying to do reverse factoring for the SME vendors. What are they doing over here is that step 1, in the slide before this we saw that in factoring, the step 1, the seller uploads the invoice, then the buyer has to accept the invoice. What happens over here is that the buyer uploads the invoice, the financiers will bid for the invoice, then the seller has the right to accept the bid. Once the bid is accepted, the concerned financier will disburse the funds and that will come to the seller within 48 hours. On the date of payment, the buyer will pay to the financier and the transaction gets over. So this is how reverse factoring works. Now what is most important is this. Factoring or reverse factoring is not a loan and it definitely differs from a traditional bank credit. It is totally unsecured. It's basically a true sale of an asset. Means it will not be shown on the liability side of the balance sheet anywhere. Basically you are selling your asset, that is the invoice in this case. Unlike the bank credit which involves two parties, here you will be having three parties, the seller, the buyer and the factor or the financier. The most important thing for an MSME is that the credit decision will be based on the credit worthiness of the buyer and not that of the MSME seller. This is TReDS, as far as I see, is one of the most important steps so as to ease out the biggest problem that MSME has, and that is the money getting locked in debtors. So I hope that this video might help you out. Dhanyavad. Thank you so much for listening to my video. If in case you have any issues, you can just mail me. My mail ID is veerconsultancy consultancy@gmail.com. I'll repeat my email ID. It is veerconsultancy@gmail.com. I'll be more than happy to help you out. Thank you so much.